Baby Gio. Baby Gio.
Baby Gio. Mamma mia, let me go.
He's so handsome, little baby Gio. He's so sweet. He's so sweet. I'm touching his ear. Ah! He's so cute.
Welcome to And That's Why We Drink. And that is why I drink.
He's so cute. Do you want to know why I drink?
Sure.
Because you're full fucking engaged now.
Yay!
Which means, no, in the bad way.
Hi, I'm engaged. Hi.
Like, what, like, not even 100 hours into being engaged, I'm already getting texts about her with her wedding magazines, and she's found a venue already. She already texted me and was like, are you free next October to fly with us to Cincinnati? So, like, it's all been planned. It only took a week, guys.
That's so embarrassing.
No, the embarrassing thing, do what you can do with your hand now.
Oh,
she'll go everywhere now with a glass of wine in her left hand. She'll go, look what I can do.
I can make a toast with my finger.
She does it all the time. It's not fun anymore.
You guys.
She's like, hey, guess what I can do? Ding, 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 ding. And I'm realizing how much wine you drink because you do it all the time.
I'm so embarrassed. Oh, yeah, that's true. I constantly have a wine glass in my hand.
Yeah.
Right. The thing is, I very much was not expecting it. Like, I was expecting it sometime this summer, but for sure not on the day that it happened because I had not washed my hair and we were eating Indian food and my improv team was coming over. But that being said, after it happened, I was like, I guess I'm allowed. Like, I never was the kind of girl who was like, I'm going to have this at my wedding and this at my wedding. And then it hit me yesterday that
you can have whatever you want.
I can actually plan like a real event, and it's okay for me to go online and Google dresses and shit like that.
You probably could have since you've been with him for 5 years.
Right, but it was something where I was like, well, I don't want to like get ahead of myself. And all of a sudden I've just like nosedived off the deep end into like these Pinterest,
I definitely thought it was going to be a secret I kept for several months, not several weeks.
He thought so too, and I thought so too.
Well, I definitely, because I remember I was telling Kirk at work.
Oh, work Kirk.
Why don't we call him that?
I don't know. That's clever.
I was telling him probably like 3 weeks ago now, something like that, almost a month ago. I was like, Christine's an idiot because you were saying ahead of time before you knew that you were getting proposed to. You're like, if Blaze ever like tries to take me on an adventure, then I'll know that like that's the moment he's gonna do it. And then a week later, you're like, oh well, Blaze is taking me like to some hiking thing for our anniversary, and it did not hit you at all, or you didn't bring it up. And
No.
I was like, Christine, you said yourself that you would assume something.
Well, I knew.
And you hadn't said anything.
I knew that's when it was, but I didn't want to get. I'm like that person who never wants to get her hopes up. So I'm like, you know what? If it doesn't happen, it'll be a fun trip for us. Maybe he'll do it over Christmas. Like, I don't know. I don't like to like get ahead of myself. So I was like, it'll just happen when it happens. And then it happened when I was for sure not expecting it. And I was like, God damn it, Blaze! Like,
He really did catch you off guard.
oh, I looked so horrible. I was like, well. And my stepmom goes, Did he take you to a beautiful, nice dinner overlooking? And I'm like, no.
He was in your dirty apartment with your dog.
I had not. And then I immediately had to Swiffer because my improv team was coming over.
What he was doing was showing you what your life will be like forever. And he's like, stay in this mess with me for eternity.
He's like, I see you like this and I still want to marry you. So that has got to mean something.
It's okay. I'm going to make fun of you for all of that, but I'm not even dating anyone. So like, who's the real winner here? Not me.
I'm just excited. And I'm so happy that I met Em before all of this. And now she can be a part of it. And when I told her finally that like we had gotten engaged, which she like knew was coming at some point, she goes, oh, I left my phone charger in the car, I'll be right back. And she comes back with engagement gifts from her car.
They've been sitting in my car for months because I knew you were getting proposed to soon. Like, he had already told me he was getting you a ring.
I just love that they were in your car, not like in your apartment.
Well,
you were
I knew you would probably try to surprise me, which you did.
Of course.
And so I was like, well, when she does that, I have to be able to immediately surprise her so I look like I'm an equal friend.
You for sure won it.
So I thought ahead of you thinking ahead.
Yeah, you one-upped me.
Yeah. And so I've had those gifts in my car since the day after he told me he was getting you a ring. So it's been sitting there forever. And I was like,
you guys, it's a mug that says, I'm getting married, bitches. And I drink a coffee out of it every single morning. And I send my mother a Snapchat of it every single morning. And she's like, yep, I get it. You've shown me that multiple times.
You know what'd be crazy? Tentatively, it's October of next year. Mm-hmm. only 5 days in. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, we'll see.
But that would be cool if by that time this podcast takes off and like think of how many fans will be saying thank you and congratulations, and
Aww.
you'll have so many fans.
I already had so many listeners write me and be like, we're so happy for you. And I'm like, you are? I don't know you, but now I'm crying.
Aw.
People have been so nice. But yeah, so I'm very happy, and Em's coming to Cincinnati with me, and we can go on a haunted tour.
We'll be on a plane together for the first time.
Oh, fun.
It'll be a weekend of firsts.
I'm so excited. Yeah, so that's my news, and Em is the best, and she's been so tolerant, patient with me throughout the whole thing. So thank you,
The
Em.
whole 5 days. I can't wait to do this for a year and a half.
You're welcome.
What are you drinking?
I'm drinking boxed wine. Welcome to my... I'm an engaged woman.
When you're married, maybe he'll buy you real wine.
Well, don't want to get my hopes up. What are you drinking?
The same as always, a House of Pies milkshake.
Aw, stick with the classics, just like me.
Aw,
Look at that.
Classic Christine.
Classic Christine. Why do you drink this week? Oh, you already told me.
Because you're married, or you're pre-married.
I drink this week. That was also my reason, because I'm engaged. And then yesterday I was like, Blaze's aunt called and goes, oh, so when's the wedding? We're like, haha. Like, she goes, no, really, when is it? And we were like, well, we don't know. She's like, well, you got to get started. And then I like just Googled like a basic what to do when you, first steps. And the first steps are like 400 steps. And I'm like, wait, what? And there's it's Literally every little detail. And I'm like, wait, I didn't realize that I had to like suddenly be on board with all of this. So.
Are you wearing a shirt with her face on it?
Lisa's?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Also, can I tell them your wedding hashtag?
Wait, oh yeah. Em came up with this.
So Blaze's last name is Lampagnoli. Very Italian. And so I decided that, like, Christine was like, oh, I'm trying to figure out what my wedding hashtag should be, because that's like the trend.
My first statement was, do I need one? I guess so.
And I said, yes, I've already came up with it.
Oh, sure.
So if anyone, aka everyone, has seen Anchorman.
Because you've already referenced Whale's Vagina.
Yeah.
San Diego.
I have.
Yeah.
San Diego. So in honor of Anchorman, I've decided that their wedding hashtag is I love lamp. And I'm so excited.
It's the funniest thing. Did you know that I made a bookmarked folder on Google Chrome with like just bookmarks of venues and stuff, and it's called I Love Lamp.
I just think it's so perfect. The second I thought it, I was like, that's the one.
I don't know how you came up with, like, that was clever.
I came up with it within 30 seconds of you saying, do I need a hashtag? And I was like, let me spitball.
And the thing is,
that was probably one of the first ones I threw at you.
That is a line that has like I love that movie, and I love that line.
And you love Lamp.
And I love Lamp. And Steve Carell is my favorite actor of all time, so it's like,
perfect.
Perfect. Anyway,
so when you guys are talking to Christine about her wedding in October 2018, you can all hashtag I love Lamp. We'll know what it means.
I love Lamp. I'm going to make that a secondary hashtag because my parents will be like, I don't want you. What do you mean? You love lamps?
At your wedding, whatever I'm wearing, I will be bringing a cape that says I love Lamp on it. And I'll just fly around the church.
Oh, no. You'll fly around the church.
Oh, can I get Gio a little cape that says I love Lamp?
I can't even handle it.
I'm gonna do it.
Oh my God.
Oh, I'm so excited.
I'm so happy that you're so patient and kind with me.
Someone has to.
Someone has to be.
Someone has to when Blaze is out.
When Blaze is at work. All right. Okay, before we start, I just want to say, I'm going to bring us down for a minute, but...
Oh, that's fun.
I know. I just want to mention the event that happened this morning in Fairfax, Virginia, with the 17-year-old Muslim girl, Nabra Hassanin, who was murdered outside a mosque after saying her Ramadan prayers, and it kind of threw me off today because I was prepping for our episode, and I just wanted to make like a statement saying that, you know, we have to remember there are real people involved in these stories, and although we're a podcast about murder and ghosts, like, we understand that
people are real.
There are real people and real families behind our stories, and so my heart goes out to anyone who, you know, has been affected or feels like they're being targeted, and her family. And we're kind of exploring a dark side of humanity with this podcast, so it's bound to be, you know, less than stellar at times, but just wanted to send my thoughts their way. And that's all. That's my little tribute.
I agree.
Good.
I don't There's no way I can make that
I'm glad you agree.
lighthearted.
What if you were like,
No.
I disagree.
No.
Let's argue about it.
People who hate people for no reason are shitty people.
People who hurt other people. Anyway, so that's kind of, I just wanted to say.
I'm sorry to every single minority all the way up to simply being a female.
100%. And I just want to say we understand that, we have to remember there are real people, real victims, and we're just exploring a darker side of humanity, and that's that.
That's that.
All right. Do you want to tell me, is there anything else we got to cover, or are we good?
I just have to do my regular apology for not being organized in my story.
Okay. So you're elementary school M again. Mm-hmm. Okay, good.
LM entry.
Elementary.
Because
Elementary, my dear M.
I thought I was going to...
You didn't appreciate my...
I heard it.
Okay.
I was just going to carry on with my life.
That was a good call. I should have recognized it.
Smart career move.
Should have accepted it and let it go.
You didn't read the room. You just kept pulling me back in.
Sometimes I force my way, force my humor into the conversation.
You're like, excuse me, did you hear me? And I'm like, yeah, we did.
Don't you want to talk about how funny I am? Okay. Poor Blaze.
Oh, well, he chose that.
That's true.
I could still walk out. Oh, my God. For the rest of our lives. That's not even a thing that ends. That just keeps happening now.
And then there'll be another ring and I can do a double,
One day I'll be able to scat boom.
Oh man, it's going to be great.
That'd be a good time.
At your wedding, I'll just do a little performance.
No, you're not there. That's not what I'm talking about. You're over somewhere else.
What? Wait a second.
You're holding the sign. You're the person on the street doing the sign that's saying go this way with the neon poster.
A car wash sign?
Yeah.
You're going to have
I'm gonna have you do it.
A liquidation sale sign at your wedding?
It'll draw the crowd in.
Are you also going to have one of those giant Gumby men that float around and...
Oh, the wacky waving inflatable tube men?
Yeah, those guys.
I mean, I kind of am one in human form, you know what I mean? So technically, yeah, he'll be there.
At the altar, you'll just be like...
Do you? Woo-hoo!
You'll walk down the aisle just flowing.
Just my gelatinous limbs. There's no rhyme or reason.
Oh man, I'm so excited.
See you there.
Don't you dare do that at my wedding.
Oh yeah, I get to walk down your aisle too.
I know.
Oh, you're in for a treat.
That would be highly entertaining to me, and
if
only
I just
me.
pretended I didn't have knee joints, so I just kind of
literally nobody
waddled in.
would think it's funny except me.
Everyone would think I have a condition, and you'd be laughing.
They wouldn't be entirely
or screaming,
wrong, but it's fine.
You think you're gonna be a bridezilla?
No, I don't, because I've grown up with so many parents at this point in my life, 4 parents who have.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of weddings between the two of us.
A lot, yeah. And they have extreme opinions, so I've learned so well to just make everyone happy. So I feel like I'm just going to be trying to balance everybody's desires at once, which kind of sucks.
I can't wait to meet your mom. October 2018, Renata. I'm coming.
Em is coming with her gelatinous arms.
I'll probably be crashing at your place.
Yeah,
because I don't have a home in Ohio.
Fortunately, my house was built in 1890 and has 17 rooms.
We can ghost hunt in your house on the same weekend you get married. It'll be the event of a lifetime.
Listen, I am losing my mind, so we got to talk about this afterward.
Okay, we'll get there.
I need to get my wedding journal out ASAP.
That's vomitous. Good luck editing, by the way.
Thanks. I'll need it.
So what the fuck am I doing? Okay, yeah, here's the story that I'm doing. I totally forgot.
Are you having...
I really have not prepared whatsoever. This is a good 10 minutes of information.
I thought I have the strokes around here.
No, I'm going to have at least 4 today.
Oh.
Because I thought I would be able to do some of this after work. I thought I was going to be able to edit it. I ended up becoming obligated to another task, and then I didn't get to it, so here we are. So, per usual, one of my... during my presentations in college, I'd go up and be like, what am I doing again? Oh, yeah. So we've done step 1.
I really enjoyed it. Personally, A+.
Okay, so I'm doing I definitely won't be able to pronounce it even when it's right in front of me. It's the Villisca Axe Murder.
What? I was going to do that next week.
Were you really?
Yeah.
Shut up. Did you already research it?
I mean, I know a lot about it.
Okay, well then you can help me.
But it's all good because... it's my favorite story. I didn't know it was paranormal.
Well, honestly,
This is a crazy story.
it is, and because I just learned of it 12 hours ago, if you have anything to say, which you will, just jump in. Okay, so the Villisca Axe Murder house. Smooth sailing so far. One
Solid
sentence in.
start.
Okay, so Villisca is in Ohio, correct? Oh, Iowa.
I was like, it's not in Ohio.
I'm thinking about your wedding in October.
Please stop equating my wedding to the Villisca Axe Murders. Thank you and goodbye.
Okay. Okay, so one thing I learned, different websites were telling me different things, but Villisca actually means either pleasant view or it's named after the Indian tribe that used to bury their mentally insane on the land, and it's called, it means place of evil spirits. So take your pick.
Good.
Of those. So the family involved is the Moore family. It was a husband, wife, and their 4 kids, and then 2 girls who were friends of the oldest sister. And the oldest sister was 11, I think, and or 10. Basically, they all were out to a church function that night, and I guess it was a children's program or something like that. And then they ended up coming home around 10, so the reports say. And then they went to bed, and by morning they were all dead, via axe. In case we didn't pick up on it.
Via axe. Okay.
So,
and that is not the body spray. That is the large metal weapon.
right, but they're both spelled the same.
And they're both pretty heinous.
Okay, won't be wearing axe around you. Note taken. Okay, so the way that most of the stories went was that the neighbor recognized that the next morning none of the kids were up and the wife wasn't up and nobody was doing their daily chores. And so she kind of freaked out and was like, what's going on? So she tried knocking on the door. Nobody answered. Nice of her, she let their chickens out of the coop so that she could feed them.
Oh, kind.
And then she was getting more nervous as the day went on because the husband, Josiah, usually leaves for work really early, and now it was like noon. So the neighbor then got nervous, and she started calling, I think the first person she called was Josiah's brother. And so the brother ended up coming over. He had his own set of keys, so he went in, and the first thing he saw down the hall were the 2 guest girls. I get their last name was Stillinger, Lena and Ina Stillinger. And they were 12 and 8.
Oh.
And they, I guess, came home with the family to have a sleepover after the church program. So they were sleeping in one room downstairs, and he saw them first. And so the bodies of Lena and Ina were discovered first by him. And the 12-year-old, it's kind of graphic, but at the foot of her bed was a kerosene lamp, and it was possibly used to project light on her body. And she was lying in a really sexual pose with her underwear down, and there was blood smeared across her legs. So there were also defensive wounds on her arms, and investigators believe that it was sexual abuse before she died. So that's rough. So he ran back to the neighbors, said call the sheriff, and as pretty soon, like within the next hour, everyone in town knew about it, and there's rumors that literally hundreds of people in the town were going into the house and looking at the crime scene and like touching the bodies. And thank God DNA didn't exist back then, or did, but no one could find it. But
yeah, DNA was not.
It just actually wasn't there yet.
God was like, oh wait.
But people were just going, like, I can't imagine there being a murder and just wanting to go check it out and touch the bodies of people I hung out with last night.
Like it's a museum, like just wandering through.
Anyway, that's what
the
some
people I
did.
hung out with last night.
So the face of each victim had been covered in garments after being killed. And the mirrors also had cloths covering them. So I guess the investigators were thinking he didn't want to look at himself do it, or he couldn't face it afterwards. The murder weapon, which was an axe, in case we didn't pick up on that yet, it belonged to Josiah. It was discovered in the bedroom where the Stillinger sisters were sleeping downstairs. So the thought is they were killed last. And although it was covered in blood, it was obvious that the killer had tried to wipe it off. So like there was like smears on it. And the ceilings in the bedrooms had gouge marks on to like represent that it was from like the swing up.
Yeah, he hit
like
it so hard that he
left gouges in the ceiling.
Ugh.
Also,
Listen, I feel like you're stealing my thunder here with this story.
I know. I've really been doing a good job of finding good murders that lead to paranormal, and I'm sorry.
It's all good.
Until you want to do a crossover with me, I'm just going to have to take a couple of your stories. So, other details include a pan of bloody water found along the table. So I guess he was like trying to dip the axe in it or something.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Also, very me if I were a killer. 4 pounds of bacon were found all over the kitchen.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm into it. I mean, I'm not into the fact that he didn't eat it, but
well, I was going to say he left it there.
So no one was ever convicted of the murders, but the main theories are that it was one of 3 people. So one was a serial killer that happened to also kill other people a couple months later, one including the serial killer killed his mom.
Right.
It was like he killed a bunch of people, so they think maybe this family was one of the first ones. They also think it might have been a traveling preacher who I guess was no one really knew of him, but he was caught on the train the next day confessing to it, saying that he was slaying utterly, which I guess is a passage from the Bible.
Oh, good.
And before his confession, he also had written a bunch of letters to authorities about the deaths, like while on the train before he confessed. And he sounded really obsessed about the murders and was writing things that only the killer would know.
Wasn't he like mentally ill too, though? Like, yeah.
But I wonder if his letters had anything to do with the bacon.
I wish I had eaten that bacon.
My only regret is the uneaten bacon. So the main focus and the main assumption is that the person who killed him was Josiah's former boss because he was mad that Josiah left the company and became successful on his own. Mm-hmm. And there's also rumors that throughout the town, Josiah was sleeping with the boss's daughter.
Not good.
While cheating on his wife with the boss's daughter, and then also left the boss to go be more successful. So they think his boss hired a guy to kill him.
Interesting.
So those are the main ones. So the Moore home is now a national, like a historic national landmark, and is now restored back to how it looked in 1912. So you can still go in there, and it's open for people to spend the night, but it's mainly there for paranormal investigators. And I was looking at some of the shit online last night, and it's crazy. Like, there's a lot of YouTube videos of, like, evidence of this place, and it's all cool.
Holy shit.
Which I will get to in a second.
I wish we had done this as a dual thing, because there's so much, like, crazy shit about the actual murders.
But I'm trying to keep it sweet and certain.
Never heard about that.
I'm just trying to help you.
Maybe I'll do, like, a... Maybe...
This is the abridged version. You can do a full...
Maybe
full
we can flip, and I'll find... And you can do one of my stories.
Yeah, let's flip.
As a paranormal. You know what I mean?
We'll make that, like, an anniversary thing. Like, on our, like...
Like a special episode where we...
Yeah. We should make that, like, every 25th episode.
Oh, that's fun. 4 times a year we do, like, a swap.
4 times a year? Girl, that's 4 times every 2 years.
Oh, God, I'm not good at math.
Oh, my word.
I was thinking...
So twice a year, our biannual...
I was thinking...
Flip-flop!
25, like, times 100. I'm stupid. Okay,
I got you.
Go on.
25 times 100 is 2,500, by the way.
You know, I know.
So, where was I? Okay. So it's always open to visitors throughout the year, but it's mainly ghost enthusiasts and, like, really diehard investigators. And some people stay here alone, but not a lot of them because they're very quick to find shit on their own and they get scared. So one guy was a DJ in town and he thought he was, like, bad and tough and tried to stay and didn't even make it through the night because he heard children laughing next to his bed. And then he would wake up and no one was there.
Typical DJ.
Typical. Tours have been cut short because of falling lamps, moving objects, banging sounds, and, again, children's laughter.
Oh, tours have actually been cut short? Mm-hmm. That's crazy.
Psychics have come here and claimed to communicate with spirits from the dead, which other people have also done, and they've had some pretty gnarly experiences. So, like, the earliest examples of stuff happening was in the 1930s, a couple moved in, and the wife was saying that she was waking up in the middle of the night to see the shadow of a man with an axe standing over them.
Oh, God.
Also, fun fact / not actually a fun fact at all, the axe murderer only used the axe to, like, split someone's head open. One time it was Josiah's and he swung right into the middle of his head, but every other person in the house, he just used the blunt end of the axe to, like, smash their head in.
That's so fucked up, dude.
Especially when, like, those two girls had nothing to do with it. Like
They were just sleeping over.
So they also, because I'm jumping so drastically, the assumed theory is while everyone was out at the church event, someone snuck in and was hiding in the attic.
Right.
Until they fell asleep, and then around midnight started hurting people, and by 12:45 everyone was dead.
Jesus Christ.
And so by 5 a.m. was when the neighbor woke up and didn't see the mom waking up to cook dinner or anything like that. And so when the sheriff came, they said, like, the blood's already coagulated, and, like, it's definitely been several hours. So they think around 12:45 a.m.
Jeez.
So the first couple that moved in, she saw a shadow of an axe, a guy carrying an axe standing over their bed. She would wake up to hearing strange noises in the night. She would hear children whispering in the house. So she started freaking out, and she told her husband, and he didn't believe her. And he was like, I'll prove it to you. I'll stay up all night and, like, watch over you. And he started hearing weird things, too, to a point where he didn't see anything, but he woke her up and was like, I don't want to be here.
Oh, no.
He ended up going into town the next day and, like, asked someone at the bar about it. And through a friend of a friend of a friend, he found someone who used to know the original family. Mm-hmm. And they pulled out a box that had some, like, trinkets and mementos in it, and one of it was part of Josiah's skull.
Oh, no.
And I'm like, what friend found that? But I guess if there's hundreds of people in the town,
like,
just
tromping through the
just grabbing whatever they want.
Yeah.
So anyway, he found a part of the skull from the guy who lived there before, and he, like, left that night with his wife.
Oh. I mean, you think, like, someone's
right.
smacking your skull open. I'm sure there's pieces lying around for people to pick up.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And so another family moved in, and the grandfather in that family wouldn't even sleep in the house. He built a shed in the barn. And regularly the front door would always just swing open, even if it was locked or barricaded shut.
Great.
And it got to a point where every few minutes a night, someone would have to get up and close the door because it kept opening.
The front door to the house?
Yeah.
Ugh.
Another family moved in, and it was two young girls and their parents, but their parents always lived away, so it was basically the two girls in the house by themselves. And this was in the 60s. And they would wake up every night to hearing children crying, and they also heard screams a couple times, as if they could hear, like, what had happened in real time. On occasion, they would return to their rooms and find drawers open and closed thrown everywhere, aka a poltergeist.
Oh, yeah, actually.
During the evening, this is where it gets violent. Because one evening, the dad of those two girls was at home, and he was sharpening a knife, and it stabbed him through the hand. And, like, he, without any explanation, like, it just, like, went into his hand. And then there's other accounts where he stabbed himself in the hand and doesn't remember it.
Oh, God. That happened multiple times?
No, this was just one time. That was when they left, because he didn't believe his daughters when they were like, there's something wrong with the house.
Oh.
And then one night he was sharpening a knife, and he stabbed himself in the hand and then didn't have an explanation for it. And he was like, fuck this, and got out. There was also another former resident who, over the years, has been very outspoken about, like, the house isn't haunted, people are making this shit up. And so in 2003, she got invited by a documentary crew to go spend a night in the house, and all she wrote was, no thank you. And then they tried to find her, or like,
wait, did she stay there, or did...
No, she literally just said no thank you. And so she ended up agreeing to meet with them to talk about, like, just to talk about that house. And she was really short about it, and they were like, are you sure you don't want to come? And she literally just stood up and drove away. Like, she, like, wouldn't, like, for someone who's claiming that it was never haunted, she's pretty terrified of it.
Weird.
So this is just a quick list of all the things that happened there. Every owner that leaves, it's because one of the reasons is because they've seen a man with an axe.
Good.
There's giggles, doors slam and shut and open by themselves, footsteps, especially in the attic where the man was supposed to have said that it's supposed to be said that he was staying there. Another man ended up stabbing himself in the hand a couple years later. Crazy cold air gusts, like if you're talking to the ghosts, because a lot of investigators will go in now,
right?
They'll have conversations with these things, and immediately will feel like snow cold chills on themselves, even when it's really hot out and there's no AC in the house. White light will just surround your body, like, or particular limbs. You can look at your leg, and you'll just see a bright white light on your leg, and no one else can see it. So there's an evil presence that sits around the windows.
Oh, God.
And if you try to look out the window, you'll feel someone push you away from the window so you can't look outside of the house. People have been held down, scratched, locked in rooms. Some kids have... This is the stupidest thing. Some kids have actually broken into the house and used Ouija boards and practiced the occult in there.
Good.
So if it wasn't bad before, it's worse now.
Really good job, guys.
Oh, yeah. They'll, like, literally, like, spray paint the pentagram on walls and shit. Like, totally...
Are you kidding me?
Like, vandalize the house.
What is wrong with people?
I don't know, but it pisses things off in there.
Obviously.
But whatever is in there is very good at communicating with the flashlight game.
Yeah.
Like it's
yeah.
very responsive, like immediately responsive. It'll also be incredibly responsive to like, can you open the door? Like you'll say it, like you can watch this on YouTube. Someone will say, can you open the door? And the door will just swing wide open.
Shut up.
And then they'll say, never mind, I don't want to go in. Can you close the door? And it'll slam shut.
Shut up.
I like watched a 10-minute video of someone doing this nonstop, like just standing there being like, can I, like, talking to one of the little girls, essentially, being like, can I come play with you? Can you let me in the closet? And the door cracks open.
Oh, it's not just a front door? It's
No,
like all the doors.
it's a closet door in the house. And she's just standing there next to a door, kind of like if we were standing next to that door. Just like, oh, can you let me in? And then the door cracked open. And then the woman asking the questions turned to the camera person to say something. And I guess the little girl was like, oh, you're not coming? Okay,
oh, you're just messing with me?
And just slammed the door. And so then... the person speaking again was like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to make you think I was bored. I do want to come in. Can you give me another chance? And the door cracked a little bit.
Shut
like,
the fuck
It was crazy.
up.
Like, and I just watched a whole 10-minute video of it. Okay.
Look on our social media for links to the above.
There's also...
references.
So one of the boys there, and I think the girls also do it too, but you can literally play, you can interact with these ghosts where like you can roll balls to them and they will roll it back. And they've shown videos of people leaving the ball there and jumping next to it to show that the floor isn't uneven, that like it's not
like wind
like,
or waving.
Yeah, it's not like a draft, it's not like like anything is causing it, but all of a sudden you can push the ball and you can watch it do a full turnaround and come back to you. Or, like, you can tell they're done rolling the ball with you if they push it into another room when it's just sitting still in the room with you. And I've watched the actual videos. Like, I've seen this. It's very cool. They even use the balls as a game with the little girls being like, oh, do you like me? If you like me, can you kick the ball towards me? And the still ball would all of a sudden start rolling to you. And, like, not roll a little, like, roll to your feet. Like, roll feet away from you.
These poor little babes who are stuck there. So
I thought that was pretty cool.
That's crazy.
Apparently, if you try to confront the killer, he'll growl at you.
He's still there, too?
Yeah.
God.
There's, like, a lot of heaviness in certain rooms, especially the ones that people got killed in.
Not surprised.
The EVP and spirit boxes with, like, conversation when you're trying to talk with them. Both of those meters have caught a lot of cool stuff, and one of them that I saw was an EMF detector, which is not EMF, a voice recorder,
right,
and a spirit box, the one that does the radio frequencies.
Sure.
At the same time, they both caught a voice saying, like, I guess they just turned on all the meters, and they're like, if you're here, we want to communicate with you. And right at the very beginning, both of them caught something saying, I'm so ready.
Ew!
Yeah.
Who do you think that was?
I don't know, but I felt like it wasn't nice or safe. But
it doesn't sound friendly.
One time, investigators were using a Ouija board.
Oh.
And
my favorite.
The voice recorder picked up, I will possess you.
Oh, fuck.
And then when they tried to close out and say, okay, we're going away now, wherever you came from, you have to go back. The voice recorders, you can hear multiple ones say, fuck you.
What?
In different voices.
Wait, are you serious?
Yeah.
Who are these multiple voices all of a sudden? It's not just the killer, it's like...
No, it's like a killer, maybe... It could just be like, fuck you, like, don't make us go back. Like, maybe we want to keep talking. I don't know. When they tried to... there was one investigator who kept getting really dizzy. He kept getting really, really dizzy, and then before he closed the conversation, he said, what are you? And the voice recorder and the spirit box both picked up the word Dybbuk.
No, Dybbuk box.
Which means evil demon.
Oh, no.
Yep.
Throwback to our Dybbuk box episode.
You can find it at andthat'swhybedrink.com.
That is creepy.
One investigator used a Ouija board and was like totally overcome by like the killer's spirit, like totally felt it like go into him.
Oh God.
And he became super nauseous, and he began smiling and laughing even when people weren't talking to him. And he started like talking to himself and laughing when no one was interacting with him. And when people were asking the room, why won't the demon here leave? The investigator replied on his own and said, I can't. And they were recording him as he said it, and in the night vision you can see an orb come out of his mouth when he says it.
Shut the fuck up.
And he got so sick eventually and so irritated during that session that he tried to leave the room, and all of a sudden he like kind of falls over, and when they took his shirt off, there's claw marks on the back of him.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So during another investigation, in the first 6 minutes of being there, they got 20 EVPs that they...
In 6 minutes?
In 6 minutes. They went back and listened to the voice recordings, and they had 20 different EVPs. Some were a child's voice. One was a female voice laughing. Another was a faint voice saying, come here. Someone else was saying, somebody needs their mom, which is super sad.
God.
An older male voice says, who are they? A child says, mommy. You can hear a growl, another child's voice, a voice appearing to say, that's funny. You can hear whistling. You can hear two men speaking to each other. You can hear another growl. After someone's phone beeped, you can hear something say, what's that?
Oh, creepy.
You can hear someone breathing right into the recording.
Oh, ew.
Even though no one heard it in real time. You can hear... when they were saying, is there anyone here? Is there anything you'd like to say? You can hear an evil male voice say, tell them.
Ew.
And then you can hear, this is really sad, but later that night, that same group got an EVP that lasted about a minute long, and you can hear everyone that got killed that night screaming.
What?
Like, you can hear the whole murder, essentially, through an EVP.
You can hear screaming?
Like, you can hear a girl say, please don't, what are you doing to me? And then all of a sudden you hear multiple voices screaming.
Oh, no.
And then that's about it.
Do you have links to those? Because people keep asking if we can put the EVPs in.
I'll just start sending, uploading like the links that I use.
Okay.
Because they're usually connected to like a YouTube or something like that.
Yeah, so we'll link to those EVPs, right? You have links to those?
I have links to some of them. Some of this is research that I just read, but
okay.
But there are definitely links to the EVPs I talked about.
Cool. We'll put the links to the EVPs on our website, and that's whatwedrink.com. We have show notes on there with photos and links to everything. I only started doing that a couple episodes ago, so maybe someday if I have time, I'll go back and like add information to all the past episodes, but probably not.
Okay.
So the show notes for the last couple episodes are up there. So if you want to hear the EVPs or see what we have,
you can do that on your own free volition. All right. Sorry I took your murder from you.
No, it's good. I mean, the story...
I'm sure the story itself is even more fucked up. I was just...
Yeah, it's crazy because I was like, how is this going to be... I had no idea there was paranormal stuff involved.
Oh, yeah. It's one of the most haunted... I think it's the most haunted house in Iowa.
I had no idea. No idea.
It's the most haunted house in Iowa.
I guess it's just such a famous murder that, like, that's the focus, maybe.
Right.
But, yeah, so maybe someday I'll do an episode on, like, the murders, because there's some crazy theories.
You can always come back to it. Do a part 2.
And the stuff you said was, like...
accurate.
Right, like,
Bacon.
the story, but there's, like, some crazy theories and details. All right. So I'm going to tell you about Robert William Fisher.
Okay.
This murder takes place in Scottsdale, Arizona in 2001.
Okay.
Our friend, Robert Fisher, was born in Brooklyn, New York.
Our friend?
No.
Okay.
Our enemy.
Our frenemy.
Our frenemy. Robert Fisher was born in Brooklyn, New York on April 13th, 1961. His parents divorced when he was 15, and according to friends and family, he took their divorce really hard and suffered long-lasting emotional scars and damage from their separation. As an adult, he still sometimes brought up his parents' divorce with coworkers, at the Mayo Clinic Hospital where he worked as a respiratory therapist. He once told a coworker that his life could have been very different as if his mother hadn't left the family. So he was clearly holding on to some resentment and bitterment as an adult. In 1979, after graduating high school, he joined the Navy, and he served as a petty officer until he suffered a back injury that prevented him from... ends in my bare feet. Just touched.
Ooh, that was intimate.
Woo!
That was some skin-on-skin contact.
That's what happens when I have an IKEA table that costs $99.
I thought you were gonna say that's what happens when I have some wine, but I guess an IKEA table also works in that.
It's a combination of the wine, the diamond ring, and the table.
I actually think growing up, this was the exact table my friend Cloudy used to have.
Really?
Yeah.
My mom bought me this as when I moved to Boston as like a gift.
I'm pretty sure this is the exact table I grew up eating at their house.
I love it.
Anyway,
Casper
mattresses are great.
Yes. Hello.
IKEA tables are wonderful.
We love IKEA. Blue Apron. Snacks.
Wine.
We like snacks. He once told a coworker that his life could have been very different if his mother hadn't left the family. So he was still clearly holding on to a lot of bitterness and resentment. Mm-hmm. Oh, sorry. I already said that. He served as a petty officer until a back injury prevented him from serving in 1982. So he suffered a pretty bad back injury, had to have surgery. He was discharged and he became a firefighter in rural San Diego County. Pretty soon after that, he joined a Baptist church and met a woman named Mary Jean Cooper, who was described as a wholesome blonde.
Wholesome.
And a deeply religious woman from Chicago.
Oh. So deeply holysome.
Deeply holysome blonde. Wow, we're terrible.
You know, that E doesn't get enough attention in the word wholesome anyway, so we're just helping it out. Holy.
Holysome.
You're welcome, English.
And
the slap happiness has begun.
And that's why we drink.
We're just making phonetics easier for everyone.
Alterations to the English language.
You ever hooked on phonics?
Hooked on phonics.
Did you learn that? German girl?
No, I didn't need hooked on phonics.
Oh, I did. I spoke English right away.
Sorry.
No, I remember. It was a good time. Hooked on phonics was fun.
My stepdad and I made a weird bumper sticker that said, "Hooked on phonics, learn to read good." And we thought it was so funny. It wasn't funny. It was just rude. But we thought it was really funny.
In second grade, we had Hooked on Phonics, and we got to practice by using X-Acto.
X-Acto knives?
No, what's the Expo markers.
Oh.
Very different.
Yes, I was like, wow.
As 7-year-olds, we got to use Expo markers and do Hooked on Phonics practice on the windows.
Oh, that's fun.
That was a good time.
Yeah, I didn't.
Anyway.
I didn't use that, but
I'm
sure it was fun.
Probably were just better at the English language than me, huh?
Well, the issue is that I learned it as a second language.
Haphazardly?
Haphazardly. So I learned it with all the grammar included before I learned the idioms and shit.
Gotcha.
Anyway. Yeah. So she was deeply religious. She was extremely close to her family and considered becoming a mom one of her highest goals.
Aw.
Which is sweet.
That is sweet. Very wholesome.
Not one of my... Very wholesome. Mm-hmm. Not one of my highest goals, but, you know.
It's up there. Well, you already did it, technically.
Oh, with G?
With baby Gio.
My baby G.
Baby Gio is so sweet. Look at him sleep.
So the two of them married in 1987, and they had 2 children together named Brittany and Robert Jr.
Okay.
The younger one, Robert Jr., was named Bobby. They called him Bobby.
Okay.
At 8:42 on the morning of April 10th, 2001,
Shut up, Christine.
What?
LaLaurie.
Okay.
The LaLaurie Mansion.
Uh-huh.
What story did you tell during the LaLaurie Mansion?
I don't remember.
Okay, that story. The story you told last week and this one are all April 10th.
Uh-oh.
I want to say that's a cool, creepy coincidence, but I think you just keep fucking up your notes. I think we're using the same Word document every time.
That's not true.
And you just keep the same first sentence of, in April 10th. No, this is the 4th or 5th story where it's been April 10th.
No, because last time I said, I just listened to it. It was like, I said June 9th, and you were like, oh. And then you were like, oh, wait, no, that was June 6th.
To our most dedicated fans, go through and find every time Christina said April 10th, because this is not the first or the second or the third. Let them figure it out.
All right, we'll see. It was just a LaLaurie Mansion episode.
No.
Okay, we'll see. Okay. At 8:42 on the morning of April 10, 2001, firefighters responded to a natural gas explosion and fire at the Fishers' house.
Oh, no.
The blast was centered in the living room, and the fire that came after burned the entire house into rubble.
Oh, no.
The explosion actually managed to collapse 2 brick walls of the house and even rattle the frames of all the neighboring houses within a half mile. Due to minor explosions during the fire, which they think came from either like paint cans or rifle ammunition that had been left in the house, firefighters had a really hard time getting in until the fire pretty much completely died down. And once they were finally able to enter, they found the bodies of Mary Fisher, his wife, age 38, Brittany Fisher, age 12, and Robert Jr., or Bobby, age 10. They were dead and had been burned badly in the fire. But when they investigated more closely, they discovered that Mary, the wife, had been shot in the back of the head, and the children's throats had been slashed.
No, that's aggressive.
And Mary's throat had been slashed also.
No!
So clearly it looked like somebody had tried to cover up the homicide with a fire. And the way they did it was by pulling out the gas line from the back of the home's furnace and either lighting the pilot light on the water heater or a candle and then leaving it there.
For it to like eventually catch on fire.
Exactly. So then several hours later it exploded. They couldn't find Robert William Fisher anywhere. He was named an official and as of today, the only suspect of the case.
As of literally today?
As of right now.
Oh, okay.
He's the only suspect.
I thought you meant like as of this morning.
Oh, no, yeah. No,
I was like,
sorry.
wow.
Since then and as of today,
Oh, okay.
he is the only person who's ever been listed as a suspect. On April 20th, a week after the murders, police found Fisher's Toyota 4Runner and his dog Blue in the Tonto National Forest, which is a remote mountain area about 100 miles north of Scottsdale. Police thought he might be hiding in one of the hundreds of caves that were in the area, so they issued this giant manhunt, but they still couldn't find him. 2 months later, the Arizona Supreme Court issued a state arrest warrant charging Fisher with 3 counts of first-degree murder and 1 count of arson. And he was soon declared a fugitive by the state. As for his surface life, according to friends and family, nothing seemed out of the ordinary. He seemed like a, quote, normal family man.
As they do.
As they always do, right? He was an experienced outdoorsman, an avid hunter and fisherman. He worked in a career that served others as a respiratory therapist at the Mayo Clinic. Coworkers claimed he was well respected at his job and loved his kids and talked about them often. One coworker who had worked with him for several years called him just a normal guy. He spent a lot of time with his kids, teaching them how to fish, taking them camping. Their family life pretty much revolved around those outdoor activities as well as church activities. They were extremely religious. And people described the daughter as like really studious, and she played basketball. So she was also
so
like,
they're just good people.
yeah, and she was a little jock. They said like she seemed her grandparents later said she seemed nerdy, but if you really looked, like she was also a jock. Like she was really good at sports, but she was also like on top of her schedule and was really successful in school.
Sounds like Blaze.
Yes, a little bit. And the boy was like loved going out fishing with his dad, and they were all very close. So it was just a big shock to a lot of people. Even people who really knew them, family, friends, and relatives who spent holidays with them and things like that described them as a very normal family. Even Mary's friends described them as happy, and some people said that, you know, he wore the pants in the house, or like she was just a very submissive wife.
Right?
Yeah, exactly. And they were like, but that was their thing. Like it wasn't like we never saw it out of control or anything. It was just, you know, he was the man of the house, and that's how it went.
They were just a traditional family.
Exactly. Especially with the whole religion aspect.
Right.
So then after some digging, the investigators looked a little closer at the divorce that had, you know, messed him up so badly at age 15. It turns out his mother had left his father, leaving him and his 2 sisters in their father's custody. And it had severely impacted him emotionally. And it turns out the Fishers had gone to their church's pastor for marital counseling a couple years prior to the murders. He told his coworkers about a one-night stand he had had with a prostitute he met in a massage parlor that left him with a UTI, from which he suffered for several days.
Yeah, well, those suck. I'll tell you that.
They do. They really
They
do.
suck. If you haven't had one, be so thankful.
They're the worst. But don't tell your coworkers about how you got it from a prostitute.
Yeah. That's like the one person you don't
Go
tell.
to urgent care, get some
Tell your
antibiotics.
friends. Be like, guess what the fuck happened to me this weekend?
Or just go to I've gotten a UTI not from a prostitute. Go to the urgent care and be like, I have a UTI. And then they'll give you antibiotics.
Yeah, or do that.
You don't need
Do
to,
Christine's thing. That's actually smarter.
I'm smart.
Yeah.
Do what I say. Also, don't sleep with a prostitute you met at a sex worker. Sorry.
Sex worker.
You met at a massage parlor. Okay.
Okay. Now that we all know what we should and shouldn't do in every aspect of our lives.
This is Sesame Street with Em and Christine.
Wow. Sponsored by the letter
F.
UTI. By the letters U, T, and I.
Oh, I thought it was F-U.
Oh. Well, F you.
F
I mean that too.
as in fuck. This sucks.
Okay, yeah. That's also
I
accurate.
was like, what's F-U-T-I? Footy.
If foodie. Male, female, XTS. Oh, we should say we figured out what the symbol means.
Oh, yeah, remember
we were
that?
all so close. We were all so close with the Zodiac Killer. It was Son of Sam.
Oh, man.
Blaze almost had it.
Blaze almost had it. My brother almost had it. Em and I almost didn't even come close.
Oh, no, we did not. And I should have known because Son of Sam is, like, my mom used to grow up I grew up and my mom used to tell me about Son of Sam when she was a kid. And,
Right.
like, because she grew up during that time where everyone was terrified and, like, you didn't stay in your cars. And if you were a girl and you had to go get gas, like, you
Yeah.
hid in the car while you got gas. Like, you just never knew if you would
That's
get
so
hurt.
creepy.
That same thing happened. It was a sad full circle, but during the DC sniper,
Right.
I grew up an hour out of DC, and actually the second shooting, God forbid, but it was supposed to be my mom.
What? What do
Yeah,
you mean?
My mom was supposed to be the second victim.
What do you mean?
From the DC
supposed
snipers.
to be?
She, true to form, was wearing a hot pink blazer, and
Linda.
she was at the gas station. And she was filling up her tank, and the guy behind her was being a real dick and, like, honking at her, telling her to hurry up, because he wanted his turn in line. So she, like, hurried up fast and got in the car and drove away, and he pulled up and got out, and he's the one that got shot.
Are you kidding me?
So, like, my mom's hot pink blazer was probably the target.
Wait, are you fucking kidding me?
No. My mom was at, and it was the gas station right next to where I went to school as I triangulate my hometown, because my mom was getting gas before she picked me up from school. And she was still in the parking lot, and she looked over and she could see the body there.
What?
Of where she was. Like, she was literally
So wait-
seconds from getting fucking shot.
Wait, so she was still in the area when, like,
Yeah.
emergency responders came and stuff.
No, she got in her car, drove away, and before she, like, turned out of the gas station, she heard bang and saw the guy where she was only seconds ago.
Are you
And then
serious?
she called my school to be like, a shooter. Like, we had all been really scared about the shooter. Like, we were all really all on edge in our town.
Holy fuck.
And when she called the school, they somehow already knew. They were like, yeah, we've already been getting phone calls. We already know. But that whole year of my life, we had recess indoors. Like, we just did jumping jacks by our desks every day for a year because we weren't allowed outside. And a lot of my teachers were ex-military. And so all those teachers volunteered to, like, help us carpool out to the car every day after school. Like,
So
like
sad.
we all thought we were going to get shot. I remember this was like a regular thing that if let's say my mom picked me up and we were going to the mall after school or we were going to the grocery store after school. I remember I was with my friend. It's like I'm laughing because I'm nervous, but like my friend Cole and his sisters, I remember being with them one day going to the mall and his mom having to turn to us and be like, get out of the car and run. And
What?
if you hear a gunshot, don't look back. Like, just keep going. Like, I remember.
What the
I mean, that's like
fuck?
super. It's like in hindsight, super dramatic. But some people were really scared because like it was happening right next to us. It was happening all over the DC area, so no one knew.
Well, it's crazy because I remember that happening when I was, how old were we?
I was 10
Right, so we were that age, and I remember it happening, but we were like not even close.
to understanding.
Well, no, but we weren't even close to DC, but we were like still terrified.
I was like 45 minutes out
No,
of DC.
that's what I'm saying. But like we were in Cincinnati, and we were like, "Holy shit!" Like you could
Yeah.
be walking around, and someone could. And I was like 11 years old, and I was like, "Someone can literally just shoot me out of nowhere." Like,
yeah. The first person that got shot was at was at a Michael's. It was a woman she opened up her van and was putting the stuff that she just bought into the back of her van outside of Michael's, and then she got shot in the back and she like fell into her car.
Jesus.
But that Michael's is like not even 10 minutes away from my house.
Oh, fuck, dude.
And so like it happened, so that Michael's, the one that like people I know still go to all the time. To this day, if I go to that Michael's, I get scared because I'm like, someone got shot in this parking lot.
That like 5 feet from you.
And then the second person who got shot was almost my mom. Like, so like that, I don't know how we got on this topic.
That's just fucked, dude.
I don't know how we got on this topic.
The way that we usually do.
Okay.
We just deep.
Anyway, everyone say like a prayer for everyone that had to go through something like that.
Hi. And if you're an atheist, fine.
Just still believe in good energy. Hi, Mom, I love you. Thank you for getting out of that parking spot.
Oh, God, Linda.
But also, I'm sorry to the person who got in the parking spot. I don't know how to fix it. I don't know how to fix it.
Linda, stop wearing a pink blazer.
She's good. She's good now.
On that note.
I don't even know how to get back.
But it's just one of those things where we're going to have an episode because you have crazy stories and I have crazy stories about my mom and like my dad. Just like crime and like paranormal stories, and I feel like we should have an episode where we
should have an episode where somehow one day when our Patreon donators give us enough money, we can fly both of our moms out and they can host a show and we can just interview them shit that they've gone through. Because my mom's gone through a lot of, and also she's gone through a lot of paranormal shit too.
My mom too, but I'll convince.
We'll see. My mom won't. My mom probably won't either.
If she's on air,
I think my mom's vain enough that she'll say whatever she needs to.
If my mom's on air and I'm like, well, Linda has great stories, she'll be like, well, I do too.
I feel like I just be like, Mom, thousands of people are listening to you right now. She'd be like, oh, well, where do I begin?
She'll be like, finally.
Yeah.
My mom too, she'll be like, well, if Em's mom has stories, I have stories too.
I feel like you'll be drunk before it even begins. And then
my mom and I will both be drunk.
My mom will also be drunk.
Good. The three of us.
I'll just be watching this and I'll have a migraine because I'll know how much editing you'll have to do later.
Definitely. Awful.
We went into this tangent because of Son of Sam. Because we found So it actually has nothing to do with the story anyway, just like usual.
Anyway.
Just a horrible chain reaction.
We're back. Ba 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 da da da.
We should just have a sound effect for every time we go off a tangent and then come back, and it'll just be us going, "We're sorry."
Do you realize that would happen? The way I edit it, like nobody knows that every 10 seconds we go on a tangent.
I know. We're sorry.
It would happen all the time. It would happen constantly.
You're right. I don't know what I'm thinking.
Yeah, so he was really traumatized by his parents' divorce. His mother had left his father and left him and his siblings in their father's custody. The Fishers went to their church's senior pastor for marital counseling in 1998. Mm-hmm. And apparently he told his pastor about the sex worker that he had an affair with.
Okay.
And somehow his wife had found out. And it's unclear whether he told her or whether she just knew something was wrong and he was having an affair. A lot of sources claim that she had found out about that and then that he had a second affair with someone at work, and she found out about that and was like, that's the final straw. So it's unclear, but she found out that he was being unfaithful.
Okay.
Essentially.
With Becky, with the good hair.
It's always fucking Becky.
Always Becky.
Always Becky.
My middle name is Becky.
It's not Becky. It's Rebecca.
It's if my first name were Rebecca, it'd probably be Becky.
Maybe. Okay. So weeks before her death, Mary had told several of her friends that she was planning on divorcing her husband. Mm-hmm. Apparently she had found out about the affair one way or another and said she wanted to separate. But Robert had told friends and coworkers that he could not live without his family.
Aww.
And that he vowed no matter what, their marriage would never dissolve and he would never get a divorce no matter what it took.
Ugh. Okay.
So
a little aggressive. So he's going to kill them and get instead?
Little alarming. His friends and coworkers truly said, he told us that no matter what happened, he refused to get a divorce. Like whatever went down, that was the last possible option because of what had happened to him as a teenager. He even refused to take his children to Disneyland because that was the site of the last screaming fight that he saw between his own parents.
This guy has some demons.
Some real issues, yeah. And then the night before the explosion in the fire, a neighbor reported a loud argument that happened from their house. But Mary kept her husband's dark side a secret from everyone, including her own parents, who lived like actually really close by in the same neighborhood. Even when the house, went up in flames and emergency responders came, the parents pleaded for Robert's return because they thought there was a break-in and something had happened to Robert too. So even when all of this was going down and they only found the wife and the 2 kids, Mary's parents thought something had happened to Robert because they were like, there's no way it didn't even occur to them that he could have been the one at fault.
Yeah.
On June 29th, 2002, about 11 months later, Fisher was placed on the FBI's 10 most wanted list. He's also on the America's Most Wanted Dirty Dozen list of the show's most notorious fugitives.
Ooh.
Yeah, so he's pretty high up there. As far as the spot where they found his car, some people think he hitchhiked or somehow got a ride away from there and went elsewhere because they found his dog curled up under the car, and they think if he had left on foot, the dog would have followed him.
Right.
So they think that he had somehow gotten into either an escape car or he had hitchhiked.
Oh, okay.
And the dog remained behind, but no one's really clear. Most people believe that Fisher is alive to this day. He was born in 1961, so he's really...
Yeah, he's 56.
Yeah, he's like middle-aged. Though some people speculate he might have killed himself. Although FBI... Because I guess more than half of patricides, which is like a family...
Right. When a dad kills the family.
Right, right, exactly. Like the father murders family members. I guess more than half of the time, the father commits suicide.
Oh, really?
Following the murder. But typically that happens very close to the site of the murder. So it happens...
Right, like he can't handle it right away.
Right, so it's like an immediate reaction rather than like he drives away for 2 days and then kills himself. Like it's typically right by the site of the murder. And an FBI special agent named Robert Caldwell says the FBI does not believe he's the type of guy who would kill himself because he's very egocentric and introverted. On top of the whole statistics thing of like most people kill themselves right near the site if they're going to kill themselves.
Right. Being introverted means you're less likely to be suicidal?
They said that he was like really... The fact that he's egocentric and introverted, so he's...
Like he...
Very self-centered, like just like very like...
Oh, I understand. Okay.
Self-possessed rather than like relying on other people almost. I think that's what they meant. I'm not sure.
Okay, cool.
They believe he's alive to this day, either in the U.S., Canada, or Mexico. He's considered armed and extremely dangerous. He has ties to Florida and New Mexico and might be living under an assumed identity. He's described as a loner and is thought to live alone in an isolated area. Although some people think that since he was able to kind of take his wife and like make her a submissive person, that he might have found a woman to be submissive to him. So it's not clear whether he's alone or with another partner.
Right.
There was a documentary released in 2011 called Where is Robert Fisher? About the hunt for him. And a journalist for the Phoenix New Times went to a screening with a friend of his who had actually known Robert Fisher. And although he was somewhat disappointed in the movie's execution, he described their favorite scene as an excerpt from a home movie that Mary Fisher had taken in the 1990s.
Oh, no.
And this is how he describes it. I'm just going to quote it directly. With her camera on, Mary walks into a dimly lit room at the Fisher abode, where Robert is seated in a big chair, having a quiet moment with the children, who are then about 4 and 2, respectively. Robert is clearly unhappy with his wife's and the camera's presence, and tells her tersely to turn the damned thing off. She demurs, noting that the precious moment should be memorialized. Robert tries to go along for a second, but he's really pissed about something. He addresses his little daughter, Brittany, who is right next to him, telling her, like he's addressing a circus animal, to smile and to spin around a few times. Finally, he instructs her to scream, which she does at the top of her lungs. And that's the scene that they included from the home video in the documentary.
It's very weird.
They said it was really creepy in context of the documentary. As of right now, there's a reward of up to $100,000 for any tips leading to Fisher's arrest. There have been over 300 unconfirmed sightings, including one man in Canada who they really thought was the guy who was basically a doppelganger. But the Scottsdale, Arizona police went all the way up to Canada to fingerprint him, and it was not him. But the FBI says they get tips almost daily as to his whereabouts. Mary Fisher's family still has no answers, but they believe he's alive. And her dad said something along the lines of, I think he started a second family, and he's alive somewhere. Scottsdale police actually believe that Fisher himself called into America's Most Wanted in August of 2001. There was a call made from Chester, Virginia, that they've studied, and they think it was actually him. They believe that Fisher may be either working in a medical position or living in a small town with a menial job.
Oh, no.
As far as his description, Robert Fisher is 6 feet tall with brown hair and blue eyes. He has a bad back and may be on pain medication. He has scars on his lower back from surgery and may walk with an exaggerated erect posture with his chest pushed out due to his surgery. He has a noticeable gold crown on his left first bicuspid tooth, so I think they said it's pretty far close to the front, and frequently chews tobacco. So if any of y'all know where he is...
Well, you said he's in Virginia, so all my friends, watch out.
Hey, guys.
Watch out.
Put a tip in. Get yourself $100,000.
Woo!
Yeah, so it's a pretty fucked up one. He really...
That home video part's kind of odd.
It's creepy, right?
Do you have any weird home videos?
Oh my god, I have every weird home video.
The only one it's not really weird. It's not weird at all. But there's a home video of me in the bathtub when I was super little, and you can hear my dad going like, being like, Linda, put clothes on her. You can't just film a kid with clothes on, and or without clothes on. And my mom was like, no, this will be really embarrassing one day for her when she has a boyfriend. And in my head, I'm like, hey, I got you then, I got you now.
You were like, at that moment, you were like, well, I will play both of you.
I was like, oh, you're going to surprise me? How about I surprise you?
Ha ha. Ha ha. Oh my god. My parents filmed us naked all the time. My mom got she had like a camera, because in Germany, like being naked it's not a thing. Like people don't wear tops to the beach. It's like whatever, but...
Oh, like it's like normal to be as naked as possible.
Yeah, like they don't care. They're not like...
You were saying it's not a thing. I was thinking like being naked is not a thing.
No, right. So it's not a thing, like it's not an issue.
It's not an issue, got it.
And we...
Same in my mother's household.
Right. I think we've chatted about how our parents just walked around naked.
All the time.
And my mom had a camera, like, you know, back in the olden days when you had to like bring a camera to the... Kodak counter and have it developed.
Because that's the olden days.
The olden days.
Before, like, you know, a photography office or I don't even know what was there. A camera store.
Yeah, we're like, what happened before
We're talking about Kodak booth.
In CVS.
As if, like, wow, that Rite Aid Kodak booth is so old school.
It's so sad, I know. And now Polaroids are, like, cool again.
I know.
But yeah, she brought the film to... She went to pick it up at Kroger back in Ohio, and they called the police, and the police came to arrest her. I mean, I feel like we need to really have an episode on like our parents' crime like stories, but
yeah, personal crimes.
It's crazy. But my parents, my mom, like they like detained her, and my mom was like, "What's going on?" And they're like, "We've gotten a report of child pornography," because I was probably 3 and my brother was...
Oh my God.
I know.
And oh my God.
I know. And we still...
Even today, oh my God. But that was like, what, 20 years ago?
1995.
That's not even an issue in 1995.
I'm not that old.
Oh, wow.
My mom said there was like a thing back then of like, oh, child pornography. Like there was like this huge... Remember there was like that pedophile like
I guess,
scare?
Yeah.
And so I guess this woman at Kroger like called security, and then security was like, I guess we should look into it.
Batgirl was a tattletale when she was a little kid.
I know.
It's your freaking kid.
And it was literally like we were wearing like diapers or underwear, and we had like this body paint that my aunt had sent us, and so we like decorated, like you couldn't even see anything because we were covered in body paint, but it was
I literally have pictures right now in my phone of me as a child naked with my naked other cousins, like just
you're
running around.
Because you're children.
Because you're children and family, and it's sexuality should not already be pressed on you. It's a little naked body.
Exactly. And so my mom got in trouble, and then she got a mark on her green card, which was the first of many. So we'll see.
Yikes!
We'll talk about that another day.
Oh my god.
But anyway, yeah. So that was, that was that. Anyway. If anybody knows where he is, let us know so that we can take part in the $100,000.
All right.
But also, it's really fucking shitty for her family, and
I mean, yes, it's horrible.
it's horrible, and
horrible.
they really still want answers and want to find out what happened to their daughter and their kids. But so that's my story of the day. You're welcome.
I wish there were there was a story like that where the guy's name was Waldo. Because the headline would have been perfect.
Whoa.
Where's Waldo?
That's so good.
Or if it were a woman, Carmen Sandiego.
Oh my God.
How could you forget?
How? There has to be someone named Carmen Sandiego, right?
Well, there's definitely someone named Carmen in San Diego.
That counts. Where in the world is Carmen in San Diego? That's pretty...
Where in the world is Carmen? San Diego.
Oh.
Maybe the answer was right in front of us all along.
Let's ask San Diego where she is.
No, let's ask the show. Maybe that was the answer. Where is Carmen? ? San Diego, period.
Oh, fuck.
And they had us going on all these adventures trying to find her. We just had to stay in California this whole
They
time.
sent me to Greece.
Bitch.
What the hell? I'm getting it now. Wow.
Yeah.
That's deep.
Yeah. It's like me. It's like if we did a spin-off show, it'd be called "Where Is Em House of Pies." It's like, oh, it was right there all along.
Where is Christine in her living room?
Where will Emily be? Hell, you know, like one day, maybe that's the finale.
It's not as catchy. Where in the world is?
No.
Where in the world is M?
Speaking of burning in hell, I'm officially a redneck right now because this weekend I was out in the sun all day and like my whole neck is like. It hurts to move my head. I'm so burnt on my back.
That's the worst feeling when you can't even, like, lay down on your back.
Yeah.
I was a farmer for a while.
Oh, okay.
Okay, that's an exaggeration. But I worked on a farm for a while.
Did you?
Yeah. And
why? At what age?
It was, like, my senior project, but then I fell in love with a farmer who worked there. So then I was like, Mark.
Wait, is this a real story?
Yeah, it's a long story.
You fell in love with a farmer?
Yeah.
It didn't work out, I guess.
Well, considering I'm engaged, no.
Like, as of October 2018, I guess it really wouldn't have worked out with Mark.
Yeah, we'll see.
Farmer.
I'll let you know in October.
Farmer Mark.
Farmer Mark. But I'm going to tell you something. His name was Mark with a C. I know.
It's like, are you trying to pretend Marcus has a nickname?
Well, and all my friends were like, that's not a thing. Stop. And so... Anyway, it was a long story, but point being, I spent a long time like working there because I was in love with Mark the farmer, and I got a legitimate farmer's tan to the point where like I was like 6 shades deeper on every part of my body except like my torso and my legs.
I bet Farmer Mark was into that though.
No, I wish. No. He was like, you're 18. Please stop. And
how old was he?
well, probably in his 20s. I don't know. Like
Christine.
An adult. I was a youngin'.
Christine.
But yeah, so I got my real... I was like, I have an actual farmer's tan where I worked on a farm for 6 months and I got like...
How did you find a farm for 6 months and you didn't have something to do?
I live in Ohio. Just drive an hour north, you can find a farm.
You must have really loved Farmer Mark.
I loved Farmer Mark.
Where is he now?
He got engaged while I worked there, and I was like,
"Aw,
fuck this."
You're like, I'm never coming back to this fucking farm, Mark.
Fuck
you
your
just walked out.
Fuck your carrot patch.
Anyway, good story. Good way to end this.
So everybody,
the rejection of Farmer Mark.
I like how this began with like my exciting engagement, and then ended with like fuck Farmer Mark who rejected me.
We could talk about all the ways I've been rejected. That's a long list.
Listen, we need to create.
I get rejected on Tinder all the time.
We're going to create a Patreon episode called "All the Ways We've Been Rejected."
Oh, that would be a good episode, actually.
And
no, like
there are many. Go on.
No, like instead of like a spin-off of the Newlywed Game, which we still have to fucking post.
We're gonna do that.
We'll have an episode where we just talk about all of our failed relationships.
Oh, we're gonna talk for
And that's
45.
why we drink.
We're going to talk for so many hours. Nobody wants to hear that.
I've only dated like 3 people in my whole life, so it's not like I have a lot of good stories. But I've been rejected by a lot of people I didn't even date. They just saw me and were like, no.
But that's the point. Like, rejections. Ooh.
Rejection's ripe. It's a ripe and true experience.
Wow. Okay, well, Patreon donators.
Listen up.
Get ready.
How much of our lives do you really want to know? You'll find out.
Do you want to know everything?
We'll tell you it all.
You probably don't.
We have nothing to hold back at this point.
We'll tell you anyway. Thank you for being our favorite people in the world and for making me smile all the time on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram. And thank you for, we just joined Audio Boom as our podcast network. So they're kind of hosting us now. So if you're a Podbean listener, well, if you're a Podbean listener, I guess at this point, you're not listening to this. Because you're not yeah.
Okay.
I had a couple of people be like, where's your episode? I'm a listener on Podbean. And I was like, oh, shit.
Oh, yikes.
So I guess if you are a Podbean listener or were a Podbean listener, you found us.
Yep.
So good.
Just go back to iTunes, go to Audio Boom, go to...
We're on, Google Play, Stitcher.
We're still in a lot of places. And soon we will be in even more spaces. We can't... I don't know if we can say anything yet.
Yeah, we can.
Okay, you say it. So I'm
yeah,
not in
so
trouble.
we're... Shut the fuck up. Yeah, so soon we should be on Spotify and iHeartRadio, so that's kind of exciting. Blah, blah, blah.
Because we're growing. Also, today is our 5-month anniversary.
Oh my God, I can't believe
5
it.
months
Today?
5 months ago today, I asked Christine if she would start a podcast with me.
And I sat there for 3 hours going,
She didn't respond right away, so I felt like, oh, just another one of those rejections I can throw in the arsenal.
what's my answer?
She decided no at first, but we got her into the swing of things.
I changed my mind pretty quickly.
Changed your mind.
But so 5 months, and we're on Audio Boom now, so if you want to check us out there.
How did you think 5 months ago when I was like, hey, do you want to start a podcast? You would say, in 5 months, we've been offered to be hosted on iHeartRadio.
0%.
We're moving on up to the east side.
Changing.
Okay, so you don't know that song. You're just going to
No,
pick a different
I'm going to
one.
make up my own,
All right.
is what's happening.
Okay.
Changing our lives.
Oh, I thought we were going changes.
Or that.
Turn. Do you not know that song either?
Chia. No.
Jesus Christ, Christy.
I'm sorry. I'm trying.
Okay, but fun fact for everyone who actually really enjoys us, and God knows why, but next week should be a twofer for you because it will be you'll be getting another episode and you'll be getting a listener's episode.
That's right.
So lucky you.
Oh, man. You get to hear our annoying voices in your earbuds.
For even longer than normal. So there you go. Those are, I think, everything so
That's
far.
it.
Sometime by the end of next week, well, actually, based on when this comes out, it might be the end of this week. I'm not sure. Within the near future, the May batch of Patreon donators will be getting their merchandise.
Yes. May stuff is going out soon.
Soon, within the next couple days.
Then June stuff will be going out in a couple weeks in July.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That sounds right.
It sounds right. We'll be more timely about that in the future. But it is coming. We haven't forgotten about you. It just, on our end, it takes a while to get everything and collect it all and then be able to send it and then shipping time.
We're just so pleased that so many people are actually donating that
Yeah.
we're like, wait, what?
Like, we're so impressed, but we also feel bad that we can't give you things immediately. Like, it's
right away.
It's not our fault, and we're trying very hard to make it get done as fast as possible.
It's not our fault.
It's not our fault, so can you just, like, chill?
Just like stop blaming me for everything.
Why are you so obsessed with me?
Why are you so obsessed with us?
Anyway, Christine's going to have to edit 3 hours of conversation.
You're welcome.
So, I guess we should sign off before you rip your hair out later.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm down with that.
Keep sending in your listeners' episodes, Jesus Christ, listener stories.
God, stop drinking that. It's really embarrassing when you drink so much.
And I really just stumbled through like 3 different words there.
Ay, ay, ay.
Please send in your listeners' stories. Please keep sending us nice compliments because we're vain.
Send us so many compliments.
Honestly, the more you send us, the better.
We just want to know how pretty we are. It's fine.
Also, this is the first episode where we can announce Gio has a Twitter. You can find
Jesus
him
Christ. I have nothing to do with this.
at Gio Schiefer.
Okay. If you want to follow Gio, you can, but I have nothing to do with it.
She doesn't like that sometimes he has an attitude.
He has a really big attitude because it's literally M tweeting at me.
It's me just texting her, feed me, but using Gio's face, so maybe she'll do it better.
Yeah, like I think we're going to pretend it's Gio, but it's M, like, just sending me passive-aggressive notes.
It's me just tweeting out things that I think Gio's actually thinking, but Christine doesn't have the heart to actually post.
Sure,
So, because
sure.
we all know he's got a big attitude. Probably a little gay. A little gay.
Sure.
Like at least 10%. He's got the attitude.
Wouldn't be surprised.
He's at least part of the community. At the very least, he's an aggressive ally.
Oh, yes, for sure.
And I think he's got a lot to say and a lot that you don't want to hear. So I have to do it for you.
All right, so if you want to follow a fellow ally, Gio Schiefer is the one to go to.
Aw, little baby Gio. He's so sweet. Okay. Thank you guys for listening.
We love you all so much.
Have a good week.
And that's why we drink at gmail.com.
And that's...
Oh.
Jesus.
ATWWD Podcast is our social media. And that's why we drink. No, we did it. We did it right. Sort of. Good job, Em.
Thanks.